welcome back to our channel. This is Edu-Malanga for South African matriculants, where we do maths and we focus a lot on examples for the South African curriculum, so that we can pass maths, we can help each other, we can grow. So with that said, we appreciate your comments, we appreciate all the love. And also, if you feel a bit, shy to comment below, try to find us as through the DMs on our other social media. But otherwise, Edu-Malanga, just write down there what your problem is or ways we could improve, guys. But also, what we really appreciate is, just share this video with your friends that you know are in the same position with you or could be there next year. So let's enjoy. Today we're going to be discussing inverse functions. So essentially, we've touched on this a bit before. Inverse functions are functions, okay? So a function would be a graph, okay? But when you think of invert or inversing something, it's sort of like flipping it over. And I think that's going to be a good frame of reference as we go about today's lesson. I'm going to do the introduction, so it's mainly not going to be examples, but I'm going to go and go right in with those examples on the next few videos. Just keep clicking, keep watching, guys, and download if you need to. YouTube allows you to keep the videos on your phone, on your laptop, so that you're not using data each and every time that you watch our videos. So let's enjoy, and all the love, guys. Cool. So inverse functions in mathematics, this forms part of unit 2, which was functions and inverse functions. So essentially just graphs. Okay. What I'm going to start by is just reminding us of what we said. Okay. So we spoke about terms like domain and range, and I'm going to go back to that because it's very important, especially when you're trying to invert something. Okay. So I'm going to put a bullet point here and we're going to start. Okay. I'm sort of going to make notes, guys. But you know what I mean? Remember. Yeah. Okay, so essentially from last time, handwriting is good today. Wow. Remember we said that what forms part of the domain is x values, right? Okay, so I'm going to start with it. So remember, really important, guys. I don't know, like write it down for yourself at a corner. Or like just cram it. X is domain and range is y. Like it's for life. It's never gonna change. Is y. This is so sad because the other Edu-Malanga lady has beautiful handwriting. But we're not here in life to compare ourselves with other people, are we? Not on these internet streets. Okay, so remember the domain is x and the range is y. Okay, if I were to just make, for you guys, I hope you can see this. If I were to make a straight line here and another line there, x is the horizontal, y is the vertical. Just a reminder in case someone forgot. Okay, so x is the domain, the range is y. Okay, in an inverse function, okay, contrary to a normal function, guys, remember what a function is. I hope you remember. A function needs to have a certain relationship. We're going there just now, but I hope you remember. And if you don't remember properly, I think it should be advisable for you to look at the old videos. Now, what an inverse function is, okay, is that the domain and the range are inversed. The domain and the range are swapped. The domain and the range become the other. The one becomes the other. Okay, the domain and the range. Guys, I'm recording this video during lockdown, so my attitude is 100%. 100%. I'm just here for you guys. We're here for each other. All the love. All the love. Edu-Malanga. Edu-Malanga. Okay. Let's not despair. I really feel so hopeful about life. I just feel that God has got us. Okay. Whoever you believe God is, I believe in the Christian God, but whoever you believe God is, He got us. He got us. He is not shocked by this. Okay, in an inverse function, okay, I'm not going to write the word function here, but we're talking inverse functions. In an inverse function, the domain and the range are inversed. The one becomes the other. Okay, if English is not your first language, I would explain it as we are swapping. So where there was X, we're going to put the Y value. Where there was a Y, because remember when we look at every single coordinate means a point, one part of the graph. It constitutes of an X and a Y value. So in essence, what I am saying is I'm taking this value, I'm making it that value. I'm taking that value and making it that value. A value is whatever is here. So if it's 0, it becomes 0 on this side. If it is a 1, it becomes a 1 on that side. I don't know of a simpler way to explain that, but the examples will definitely explain for us. If you do not understand, again, guys, please just write at the bottom. I'm really keen on, just spending time with you, explaining. I do not mind at all. You're not ever, there's no such thing as a dumb question, especially in maths, guys. Just ask what there is a one-to-one function. This is what we discussed in this video. If you don't understand this, probably go back, but I will explain, okay? Becomes a 1-to-1 inverse function. Okay. So, okay, a many-to-one function. So now we're thinking maybe not every value of X. Many-to-one. Okay, a many-to-one function. Again, we are talking inverting it. So we are going to make every single X, a Y, and X. So that can't now suddenly become a one-to-one. Instead, this one becomes a one-to-many. So depending on whether it was X that corresponded to 2 or Y that corresponded to 2. Essentially, just expected to not be a one-to-one relationship. Okay. And to do this, to get this, we do the vertical line test. So if I were to do a test here, a test there, that's how I'm going to prove to myself the relationship, and a horizontal test, and then I prove to myself the relationships that the graph has. So I'm going to just remind you, remember the vertical line test. And the horizontal. I think as I grow older, I just want to get a bit of a mountain. A lot of things I want. I want money. A lot of things. Laugh. I'm not to extreme maths, but I really want to improve my handwriting. I want to also change the world and just focus on social issues, but also to improve my handwriting. So the next point, what I'm going to say is there was a test we did in the previous video that decided or determined whether a graph is a function or not. Okay, so only a one-to-one. Okay, you remember the straight line I drew in the previous page? That was a one-to-one function. Okay, function can have an inverse. That is a function. Which is words, ngamanye amazwi in my home language, Zulu. And if I explain it in another way, in another angle, same thing, same difference, we're just reiterating. That's a bit of a bad English word. We're just re-explaining. We're just making it simplified. We're just doing it again. Okay, I hope you guys are having a good day because I'm just, okay, I'm going weird. Okay, in other words, the graph is reflected. Oh, the graph. It's almost like there's a mirror. It's almost like someone put like some kind of mirror that is two-sided and is saying, this very graph that I've plotted here, I'm putting against this mirror, okay? I'm putting a mirror and I'm saying on the other side, please also appear yourself. Make yourself appear. The graph is reflected. Reflected on the line y is equal to x. I will draw the graph y is equal to x. So the y-axis is a straight line. The x-axis is the straight line horizontally. Now, as we plot the graph, y is equal to x. At point number 1, we're going to get x equal to y equal to 1, x equal to 1. Why? Because y is equal to x is the graph. At point 2, we get 2, 2, because y is equal to x. If I substitute in 2 there, I get y is equal to 2, and x is 2. So the point becomes 2, 2. And if I substitute in 3, what I get is at x is equal to 3, y is equal to 3. So we plot that point, 3, 3. I draw the line, y is equal to x. That is the line along which the graph is mirrored. So essentially, that would look like if I put a mirror on that line, the graph, whatever would be on the other side of that mirror will appear on the other side of that mirror. In like reflected or inversed about that point. So a graph essentially, guys, and its inverse, their relationship is pretty much the fact that they are mirrored or symmetrical, in other words, the same as the same around. So symmetrical about the line y is equal to x. So essentially, every single x value became the y value, and every single y value became the x value in its inverse. So they are symmetrical about, or they are like a mirrored version of the original graph about the line y is equal to x. So an inverse is essentially and I think that we must really, really make sure that we understand how things are written, how it is depicted on paper. So, you know, fx stands for a graph. It's a function, one function of another. Therefore, f to the negative 1 also stands for the inverse. But it is not equal, guys. You must remember this. When we put that negative 1 up there, it's not the same as 1 over fx. Because 1 over fx is, in itself, a different thing altogether. It means 1 over this point, 1 over that point. What we're doing instead is we're just inverting it. But there's a way to write that for an examiner to know, or for a mathematician to understand, and it is to put the negative 1 on top. So it is not equal to 1 over fx. Okay, please just remember this at the back of your head. What it instead is that it's the inverse or the mirrored version, which we just denote, we just write as f to the negative 1, but it is not the same as f to the power of negative 1. Okay, so with this said, the fact that fx is not the same, if f to the negative 1 is not the same as 1 over fx, we need to just recap on what fx really is, or what the summary of an inverse function is. Okay, so remember what I said. An inverse function is essentially where we swap the x and the y, or we mirror it across the line. Y is equal to x. Excuse me. So what we have then is that in summary, an inverse function is where we take the coordinates x, y, each and every coordinate of the original graph, and we make it yx. Then the x value becomes y, and the y value becomes x. So guys, I really wish you the best. I love you. I love you. Nilitanda so deeply, so deeply. Awesome.